It has been a long time since we've
Mm-hmm.
done this, man. Shoot. We could talk about some stuff. I know it's been a while. One of the big things that I've managed to change in my life lately is I got a new mattress.
Ah.
So I know anybody who has been following me for a long time knows that I've been dealing with chronic back pain for years. Sometime around the middle of last month, I discovered that it may have been something to do with my mattress because that thing was getting pretty messed up. And so I swapped it out, got a new mattress, and I think I've only missed 2 days drawing lately now
Nice.
because I just have not been dealing with like the level of pain that I used to. I'm very glad to be back to drawing on the regular now. I don't want to jinx it because I know this isn't the first time I've made this kind of statement before, but I don't see how this could mess up. So,
Oh, fingers crossed.
yeah, let me see. I pulled up a little list and made a list of things that we can talk about. So,
Cool.
what do you? I think we should go ahead and start off with the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers thing. Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious we should do that. So, what do you think? Because personally, I've never watched Rescue Rangers before. I was never really a Disney kid, uh,
hmm
but I am a fan of crossover stuff. So,
So I think the movie was fine. I don't think it was spectacular or awful. I think it was funny. I was entertained through it. I don't necessarily think it was a good movie. I definitely don't think it was a good Rescue Rangers movie. It was definitely trying to be more of a spiritual sequel to Roger Rabbit, for sure. Overall, I thought it was fine. I don't think it will age very well. I think a lot of the humor in it is very dependent on current pop culture things, whereas Roger Rabbit is a lot more timeless.
yeah, I tend to agree with you on this. Like I wanted to watch it not because of the Rescue Ranger stuff, but because of the Roger Rabbit stuff.
hmm
And if you are a fan of Rescue Rangers, this is not really a Rescue
Yeah,
Rangers thing.
it's not really a Rescue Rangers movie.
Like they could have swapped out the characters to anybody else, and it would have
Yeah,
made.
it could have been any other show and just in that same kind of weird thing where it's the characters are playing the characters. As like a Rescues Rangers movie, I was disappointed we didn't get more of Monterey Jack, we didn't get more of Gadget, we didn't get more of the Fly.
You didn't get more of that. You wanted more of that.
Well, more of the characters as they were in the Rescue Rangers show, not necessarily more of how they were in this movie. Yeah, I think like I said, I don't think it was a good Rescue Rangers movie. I think it was a fine spiritual sequel. I don't think it was a particularly good movie, but it was fine. And it had some funny bits that had me just losing it with laughter. But overall, it's like a middling movie. That said, I cannot stand the 2D 3D that they did throughout the whole
Yeah,
movie.
that was kind of. I,
Especially
I mean, I
because they
could
had
forgive
it.
it. I could forgive it.
I can't. Well, I can't specifically because I know they can do better. We've seen them do better with Paperman. That's Disney has done, and it is difficult, but it's not that difficult if you're really trying it. And it also especially really stood out to me because they're doing it right next to actual 2D animated stuff. So it gets very obvious. Maybe more so obvious to me because my whole bit is trying to make not traditional animation look like traditional animation. So maybe I'm just offended on a personal level.
Oh, I see. So, yeah, because I mean, I get offended over lousy drawings too. So I guess you get offended over lousy animation.
Exactly. Especially, I mean, there's some bad bits. There's bits where Monterey Jack's chin clips through his chest. It's just some stuff there's very easy to fix
Now,
if they were.
who exactly is Monterey Jack?
Mon- Monterey Jack is the guy that gets kidnapped and
Oh,
bootlegged.
okay. I was just calling him the Australian rat.
Yeah, no, he's Monterey Jack. But I mean, there were the things I loved in it had nothing to do with the Rescue Rangers. I loved the just the bit where they go to the Muppet to buy some cheese, like just the instant like the eyebrows go down and then just the instant
Yeah,
personality switch. I thought was hilarious. Like all the things I liked had nothing to do with the Rescue Rangers. That scene at the end, the fight between like the claymation cop and the girl cop, I thought was fantastic, and it made me really want like Like imagine a horror movie against like a cartoon character, or like, cause like the bit where he just kept coming and like killed him and he just fused back together, and just I thought that was just a real neat thing that they did.
That's a really good idea. Why haven't they done something like a horror movie where it's like a Roger Rabbit style horror movie where the
Exactly. I
enemy
mean,
is
like
a clown? I mean, a cartoon type of thing.
exactly. I think it would be really cool. Probably only a matter of time. They did like that game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, but I don't think it really capitalized on that whole what it could have been.
I think the claymation guy was interesting, but that voice, like I knew that guy's voice. Who is that guy? He's
That's a yeah, it's
the
oh wow.
Peter
Uh
Parker or Spider-Man.
yep.
Yeah,
Wow. How do I not know his name suddenly?
but you know who it is, and it's like that. That's
Yep.
all I could hear when they played him. Peter Pan. I made some comments about that in Discord when I first saw the movie, and how it's
Mhm.
such a massive, glaring plot hole. You know,
Mhm.
like, why is Peter Pan the only one in this universe who aged and became a problem? They had clips of, like, He-Man, you know,
Yep.
or, you know, like, who else? That
Yeah, and like I think you said,
Candle.
like we even see one of the Lost Boys at the same age.
Yeah.
It's it's a thing where like I think a rule I have with movies is that if an audience member asks a question and you don't answer it, that's a bad thing because it'll leave the person being like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And you don't have to answer it directly. It just has to there has to be an answer available. Like, did you see the Godzilla versus King Kong?
No, I did not.
So this is not really a spoiler. It's just kind of. Do you care if I
It's
do a
fine.
minor
Yeah, I'm
spoiler?
not really.
So there's this bit where they go to the center of the earth and they see this huge civilization of like this ancient civilization used to be there, but no one mentions it. Like they go down to find the center of the earth and they're flying through the thing and they're going like, oh wow, I'm looking around. No one mentions that they found like ancient ruins. It is never mentioned by any of the characters, which
Wow.
I assume is because when they wrote the script or filmed it, it wasn't part of it and they just added it afterwards. But for me watching it, I'm like, why is nobody reacting to this like ancient civilization of giant ape people?
Is this
So
like some sort of lore that could have been a part of the Japanese version of King Kong? I mean,
no, I don't.
Godzilla?
I just think they just didn't add it in, or like they added it in after the fact and it wasn't part of the original script.
Wow, that's yeah. I mean, a lot of Hollywood movies nowadays don't seem to be doing a good job.
Kami, not Spider-Man himself, J. Jonah Jameson, and man, I feel very bad that I can't remember the actor's name. You know, he's in Invincible. J.K. Simmons, there we go. That's the name.
Have you watched Rescue Rangers before, like as a kid or something?
Yeah, no, I used to watch. I loved Rescue Rangers growing up.
So I must say, like how offended were you when you found out about Gadget in this fly?
So I wasn't really offended. I wasn't that invested in it. I was, however, I was disappointed, but mostly because the fact that the characters were super absent from the movie. And they aren't the characters from the show. They're characters playing the characters from the show. So it's not the same for me.
Well,
Like,
so somebody pointed out like it's as if like Velma was to date and marry Scooby-Doo. Is that?
I don't know. I mean, a little bit, because the fly doesn't ever speak in the thing, so. But it is a little weird. I mean, for me, like, it's just because I didn't really care. It was a weird cartoon thing. I mean, like, I don't like it or dislike it. But
No,
it was just like,
don't give me that. I'm sure that you felt something. Because even I, who I don't care, even I, when I first saw that kind of shock, I was like, what are they doing? Like, that's gotta be insane. Like, I was,
no, I did go.
what the
I was
fuck?
like, what? I mean, unfortunately, I think it was like I was a little spoiled because the internet. So I was just already kind of expecting it, and so didn't really get hit with that shock. I kept seeing like hints of things, and I was like, what is going on here? And then I watched the movie, and I was like, that's what's going on here.
There was something else about this movie. Oh yeah, the graphics. Yeah, like I understand how you meant, like how it's not actually drawn, and for the most part I was okay. But then I saw Gadget, and I don't know what happened, but Gadget really stood out on terms of like the graphics.
Yeah, I think Gadget and Monterey Jack weren't given as much animation time. I also feel like maybe they ran out of time or something, because there's definitely some scenes that are animated better even in that style. And then there are scenes where it's definitely not animated well. I feel like maybe either they ran out of time and didn't get to finish stuff, or maybe different studios did different bits of the animation, because usually in shots like this, for CG shots,
But I mean, it's
they
Disney. Like,
well, I mean, is what I mean is that Disney will outsource to different small animation studios to do specific shots. Specifically, they'll do that with movies that
but it's
combine
like
live action and
when I
not.
think of like cheap animation, cheap stuff, I don't think Disney. You know.
Hmm.
So
Well, I think that's part of why people really didn't like how it looked. It's because it feels gross and cheap.
and they definitely milked the voice actor to from Disney. What's his name? Pete? I forget his
Oh yeah.
name. But
Well, I think part of that is that a joke is that he voices everything already. A little bit of a joke there.
because I know, like for like a split second, it was like for like 2 seconds, they had Pete in the Aladdin outfit. It was like,
Hmm.
get out of the way. And I was like, that. Okay, so you want to tell me that in this world of bootleg stuff, Pete didn't get any change? He didn't turn into a different person?
He just had the Aladdin.
You know, like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I also thought that was a little weird.
Whoever made this movie really messed it up, because if this movie was successful, it could have opened the door to a whole new genre of like interesting crossover stuff. I love crossover content, you know. So
Hmm.
for them to mess this up, and now who knows when, it'll be another 20 years until they try again. It's very disappointing. Anyway, getting to you know, with this fly and, you know, gadget thing, when I heard the news about this, I legit like kind of felt bad for those people who like legit love gadget, and that's when I had the idea to like, you know what, I think I am gonna get on this hype train. I think I am gonna like try and draw gadget, you know, just to try and appease some of these people who were heartbroken over the travesty that happened in that movie. Okay, well, I did read, like, did you at least read some of the comments that some people were like
Oh yeah,
saying?
oh yeah, I sure did.
Like, wow, these people were like very depressed and sad over what happened. So what I was thinking is
Hmm.
like, let me go ahead and do this to cheer these people up. I, for one, like, not exactly happy with the way a lot of studio companies have been doing things with beloved franchises. I
Hmm.
think you can name at least one that they've bastardized and messed up on something that you beloved. So it's like, let me see if I can cheer them up with this. So I'm sure you have a pet. Or,
I have 2 cats.
okay. So, do you have any interesting stories about your pets?
Yeah, so I got one. When they were kittens, because I had just gotten them, they suddenly didn't know where they were, which was a little terrifying. So eventually, I did find them because I was just in my kitchen looking around, and then all of a sudden I see them just kind of like appear from nowhere, and I didn't understand what happened. So I went and took a look, and there was this tiny little hole under this lip to the cupboard that goes inside behind the cupboards and everything, which was completely invisible from like a human standpoint because I'm standing up and there's no way to see it. And so I was just basically terrified for like a couple hours because I couldn't find the kittens. And then I found them. I just thought it was
I'm sorry
a
to
funny little
interrupt
hole.
you. I'm sorry to
Hmm.
interrupt you, but
It's fine.
is that the Big Time in the chat? I don't know if that's you know you've seen Big Time's art, haven't you?
Hmm.
Is that really him? Because I might fanboy a little. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mess you up. But yeah, Big
Nope.
Time,
I
oh
mean,
my goodness, it's you. I grew up looking at some of your stuff, and I'm like, oh, wow, Big Time, what are you doing here? Quite frankly, why haven't you made any drawings in a while? I haven't seen any updates from Big Time in a long time. I think you might have retired or something. Because you did a really good job at like making things very accurate to the source. I feel kind of bad cutting you off like that just to talk to Big Time.
that's fine. That's what it's live stream. It's live.
Yeah, but to anybody who doesn't know who Big Time is, you can go to like Rule 34 and just search up some of his stuff. It's like with a Y on time. A lot of his stuff is pretty old because I remember when I was first discovering the world of Rule 34, I saw some of his stuff. Sometimes with some of his stuff. In fact, he was the guy who kind of introduced me to Titoof, I believe is his name. The little
Teacher, yeah,
yeah.
the French.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people got pissed off at Big Time for drawing him. You know, he was like, T-Tooth to Big Time was like Steve Smith to me. Anyway, you can continue with the cat story. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I found them. They were in a tiny hole, so I shoved a empty Coke can in there so they couldn't get in again. The end.
Well, what are their names?
Rei and Shinji, for the Evangelion characters, because my sister named them for me, and I ran with it.
Well, that's very anime.
Yep, sure is.
Well, I guess I can tell you the story I have with my cat. I have a cat, and her name is Danins.
Like the yogurt?
Yes, exactly, just like the yogurt. But the joke is, to me and my brothers, is that I named her after Jizz. Yeah, so it's a funny story. So I guess it's kind of a long story though. I'll try to say it as fast as I can. So a couple of years ago, me and my brother, it was like 2 in the morning, and we were just watching the Game Show Network for some reason. And one of the commercials was a McDonald's commercial, and in the commercial there was like this kid just downing one of those yogurt cups, straight chugging it hard. And we were laughing so much over it because it's like, boy, this guy loves that white goo going down his throat. You know, so we were just laughing, having a fun time over that joke. And so moments later, there was another commercial that came on with Hulk Hogan in a Rent-A-Center. And during that time, this was the time when Hulk Hogan and his wife was getting a divorce. Basically, we were making fun, like saying like the Rent-A-Center guy was basically plowing Hulk Hogan's wife. That's why he's doing the commercials. And he's like, man, back off before I give your wife that Dan's again. And we were just laughing because it's like, and from that point on, we just referred to Jizz as Danins. And like, if we went to the store, we'd be like, oh yeah, you want to get some of this Danins for you? Yeah, so it's just funny. So time goes by, and there was like this stray cat outside, and my brother is like, oh, let's take her in, let's help her, because she was pregnant and it was the winter time. And I was like, I didn't want to, but basically I was outvoted. And so we let the pregnant cat live with us during the winter time while she was having the kittens. And one of the cats just so happened to be all pure white. Yeah, and I was like, ha ha ha, that cat looks like Danins. And so I decided to keep that kitten and name her Danins, and that's the story. Like, now I call her Danins after the Jizz. Kind of a silly, weird story. Okay, so another topic in the news is Johnny Depp. Have you been following that?
Nope.
Me either. It's one of those things. It's like, fuck, I don't care. I don't understand why people were like, oh my god, Johnny Depp.
It's just a celebrity thing, I guess.
I mean, I will say, you know, everybody talks about the Amber Heard shitting the bed thing. That's kind of funny.
It's kind of weird, but yeah.
I mean, she makes a good point, though. I mean, if you had millions and millions of dollars, why would you need a toilet? Why don't you just shit on the bed, buy a new bed the next day? Now that's living the life. You got like a maid coming to wipe you with the sheets.
No.
That's what's up.
No.
Yep.
That's too much for me.
Not enough for me. I'll turn this thing into like that episode of South Park where they did the World of Warcraft thing. I just turned myself into one of those guys with just drawing. If I had that kind of money, yeah. So apparently she lost and got to give him like $10 million or something.
Wow.
I don't know how much she makes, but I don't think that's really a big amount.
For what I understand, it wasn't so much about the money as it was about the winning.
Like I said, I don't watch it, but I do like see a lot of hearsay things. Apparently when this started, Johnny Depp, he lost a lot of like roles in movies just because of the defamation that Amber Heard did to him. That he's kicked out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie because of this Amber Heard thing. And he was kicked out of the Fantastic Beasts thing because of this too. And it's like, that's bullshit. Especially now that he won, it's like they're not going to give him the job back.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like on the same time, you got, what's his name, The Flash, beating up women over there in Hawaii. Have you seen that?
I did see that.
Yeah, Flash is like, why isn't he getting replaced? I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this guy being Flash. I think there could be a better Flash. A more manlier Flash than this scrawny-looking kid. But yeah, that's Hollywood for you, man. Like, they just believe all women. Have you been looking at the new movie that's supposed to come out? This Flash movie?
I mean, I knew it was coming out, but I don't remember when or anything about it.
I thought you were a Flash fan.
I'm not really a superhero fan.
Well, like,
in general.
Your mascot and stuff.
I know.
That's weird. You're not really big on Flash. I thought you were.
I'm big not on Flash, because if you recall, the reason that's my mascot is when we were making the Harley Quinn game, every other Tumblr post was me screaming about how much I hate Flash because I couldn't get it to work properly.
Oh.
And so then it came about, someone was like, aha, reverse Flash, and like photoshopped my logo from the time on it.
Oh, okay.
So it's specifically, I don't like Flash. That's the joke.
All this time. Even I didn't even know that. Wow. Okay, so keeping it on celebrities. What do you think of Amber Heard, by the way?
I got nothing.
Really? Like, you've watched the Aquaman movie.
I have. I barely remember her in it, so.
Oh, okay. Do you know any other movies she's been in?
No, I don't.
Yeah, me either. She definitely knew how to show off that cleavage in that movie, the Aquaman movie. And it's an interesting thing. It's like, I remember I had a conversation with my brother. Is there really such thing as like a celebrity crush? Like, is there really like some celebrity who you're like, oh my gosh, she's so hot, I wish I could date her?
Yes.
Oh, really? Who is it?
I mean, I don't know about now, but at the time, the actress that played Rami from Andromeda was.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, well,
Is that another? Is that
show.
another? Yeah, that sounds like some anime thing.
Show. Here, look. Let me find a picture. Here, I'll just throw this right into the chat there. Kami's right. It's the Kevin Sorbo show.
Okay. I see her. Not my type, but she is attractive.
Still pictures never do the characters justice, so I like her much better in the show. Specifically seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 is garbage. Season 4 makes no sense.
Okay, what was the show again?
On Andromeda.
What was this show about?
It's like a sci-fi show. The plot is the main character is like a captain of a starship, and there's this war going on, and he gets sucked into a black hole, like as in the middle of the war, as it's ending. And then fast forward like 200 years later, some salvage ship detects his ship like in orbit around the black hole, and they pull it out. I mean, so he basically goes from the middle of this war and then gets shot to the future, where he now basically after the war, like all technology kind of got like all like the big stuff got destroyed and stuff. So now he's got like the most powerful ship in the future, and it's going on a quest to kind of restore the Commonwealth. That's what their government was, and it's pretty fun. Before it goes off the rails bonkers, but till that point, it's really fun.
Yeah, that definitely sounds nerdy. But as for me, I cannot honestly say that there is a celebrity out there that I would be like, yes, I want to date her.
I mean, probably not the celebrity. I don't know the celebrity personality, but the character the celebrity played, sure.
Oh, you mean that fictional world stuff? Yeah, I could give you some answers to that. So the fictional characters.
Yeah, I don't have any real humans that I could think of.
I want to date the bald lady, Tilda Swinton from Doctor Strange. Yeah, like I said, I can't think of any celebrities that I would actually want to date because, you know, a lot of celebrities, like I think their divorce rate is like 80-90% of celebrities who marry end up in divorce.
Yeah,
like
sounds about right.
It's insane. Like they never stick around. Like I don't know what one thing led to another one day, and I was basically reading up some stuff on Halle Berry, and she's like been through like 8-9 marriages and divorces and stuff, and it's like she acts as if it's not her fault. It's like, seriously, you want to act like it's just pure coincidence that all 7, 8 of these guys just dated you and left. Like, no, that's not how this works. Either you messed up and you're a bad, horrible person, or you have a shit way to picking these guys.
I think what it more is, at least for actors and stuff, is that when like your job is gonna be like kissing other people on screen on a daily basis, that's gotta put some strain there.
Yeah, but like I personally don't understand the whole idea of like porn stars having husbands and wives.
Yeah, well, they do.
That is just weird.
I mean, is it any weirder than them having kids who are gonna grow up and get on the internet?
Oh my goodness, that's sad. That's so sad to think of stuff like that. Nowadays, you know, like women who aren't really even like porn stars, they're just women who just want to be on OnlyFans, and they're just gonna be like, oh, it's okay if I have an OnlyFans, sweetie, little Timmy. It's putting food on the table and all that, but it's like, I don't know if that's good for the kid's mental state, you know, when the boy or girl has to like grow up knowing that the mom is doing stuff. Anyway, it's just and stuff, but you know what I mean.
Say that, but I'd say like half of them are doing them with their partners. So I don't know.
It's
some people like being watched,
and maybe it's just a sign of the times. I mean, this is June after all, with all the it's like gay month. So I mean, I guess like nowadays that's okay. Degeneracy seems a little more acceptable than it did back in the day. I mean, look. On one hand, I don't agree with it, but on the other hand, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm drawing right now. But I do separate. I do separate like the porn industry from what we do. I think there was a very big difference between what we do and the porn industry. For the very big reason that there are no women involved in this situation. And I mean, like, oh man, I wish I could. I saw this thing. Like, there was this guy. I don't know his name. Fuck, I forget his name. But holy shit, he's been killing porn stars. I'm not joking. He's been making them OD. It's insane. I wish I knew the name. But there's this like big producer guy in the porn industry who gets these young 18-year-olds like girls, gets them into the business. I think one of Dakota Fanning. That's one of the.
I don't think it's Dakota Fanning.
Her first name is Dakota, and she's blonde and she has short hair. And I bet you, if I showed you, you might know who she is. She's a porn star, but she died because she OD'd on drugs. And then there was like a few other like 18-year-old porn stars who would just get into the business, and then all of a sudden they was like, oh, this guy, this producer guy in the background, he loves to supply me with drugs. And then a few months later, died of an overdose. And nobody's saying anything. Nobody's like putting this guy on trial. Like, this guy's just casually, moving on to the next one. Like, it's insane. Why is nobody pointing this out? This guy's like inadvertently killing porn stars. It's insane. That's why I consider this very different from that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck. I might want to make a SlappyVlog about that. That's anyway, to my knowledge, I don't think you take any drugs, do you?
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I am 100% sober.
Yeah, me either. So, I don't think we're gonna OD on anything. Oh yeah. So here's something I want to do. As I've mentioned in my last live stream with you, I fucking hate Doug.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I legit, like, I think he was the worst thing to have ever been made in the 90s of a cartoon show. For the simple fact that he was such a little soy-filled bitch. Oh, I don't want to talk to Patty because I'm too scared. Fucking talk to her if you like her, you... God, made me so mad. Now, back then when I was a kid, I didn't know any better and I just watched it. But growing up, I realized, wow, this guy is a horrible influence. And I think anybody who was like too shy in school back in the 90s, who were too scared to talk to women or anything like that, It may have been a result of like Doug being in there. Like if they watched a lot of Doug, it may have been like subliminal, some subconscious kind of thing. But anyway, what I was thinking of doing on YouTube is probably making one of those like synopsis kind of things where like I basically review the episodes of Doug and just give out my points to them.
Mm-hmm.
To break it down each episode on why Doug did something wrong and stupid, but yet it's masked behind good morals and stuff. And so, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yes, maybe.
I mean, I think it'd be an interesting show, an interesting, like, series that I could make, because I looked and I don't see anybody doing that.
Yeah. I've wanted to do some YouTube stuff for a while, but just time doesn't exist for me. Ugh.
I know you're still very busy with your work stuff, and what exactly are you working on right now?
I was just doing a whole bunch of that NASA stuff recently, and it was very annoying. Doing reports, and I hate reports. Reports are dumb.
Are you allowed to talk about aliens?
I mean, I'm allowed to. I don't know anything about them.
Because I remember I was hearing some news a few weeks ago where they were like, oh man, we're going to disclose all this information about aliens and stuff.
I wish, but like, let me tell you. Nothing dissuades someone from believing in any sort of conspiracy theory than having to work with the government, because, oh my god, is it incompetent. There's no way you could do a cover-up. I cannot express the frustration I have. Just dealing with people just trying to do reports, it is ridiculous.
I don't know, I figured maybe you've seen some aliens or something.
I wish I had seen some aliens.
You're not telling. So you're telling me how many years have you been worked at the NASA thing?
So that's 2015. So 7 years.
So in your 7 years, you have not seen not one interesting like thing that's been like, oh wow.
I mean, some of the interesting things I thought were like that I've seen was more about people being incompetent and less about cool stuff. Like,
oh wow, this guy really is that fucking dumb.
Things I learned. So like when they build like the spacesuits, right? They're basically still using the spacesuits from the Apollo missions, because they don't want new tech. Like they want new tech, but they don't want new tech. They want it to be stuff that they already know works. They don't really want to innovate. I mean, which is why SpaceX is building the space shuttles and all that, because NASA doesn't want to do new stuff. Because the stuff I'm working on is new stuff, and the hoops we have to jump through. Just ridiculous. So it's basically like, the thing is I learned, these spacesuits, they leak.
Well, leak what?
Air.
Oh, okay.
They just leak because they were like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. They just leak. And just other stuff that's like ridiculous. Like things I learned that they don't tell you about, you know, like the Apollo missions. You ever hear about how they had to use the bathroom?
No.
Didn't work. There was just like poop and piss flying around the cabin for like half the mission. Of course, you know, no one wants to talk about that because it's not the glamorous spaceman thing. But and like they even on like the space station, they have, you know, some better systems now, but like not that great. So they have to be careful that it doesn't go everywhere. I wish I had cooler stuff, but any of the stuff I've done with like NASA or the military is just always been just very disenchanting.
Okay, maybe. How about, okay, you don't have to tell me because I don't want to risk you getting fired or me getting shot in the back of the head, but has there at least been like times where like maybe some military guy has been like, you need to do this private thing and you're not allowed to tell anybody or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like not on anything cool. Like I got to go to NASA and look at all the, you know, the space stuff that they were working on.
You got to go to
but
space?
It wasn't. I wish I could go to space. No, I don't wish I could. I'm a little too terrified of that. But like I got to see the capsule that they were planning for the Mars mission, and stuff, which is cool, right? But
did it look like the one from Dragon Ball Z?
Actually, a little bit.
Like a circle?
No, like there's another one that they have later in the series at some point. I can't remember, and it looked a little more like that one. It was one of like the Capsule Corp somethings, unless I'm completely misremembering the show, which is highly possible.
Well, that's very like creepy. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe someday aliens are gonna come here and be like, "What's up?" And because I do know like that was a big thing like over the last few months or so. People were like, "Oh fuck, NASA the government, they're releasing documents about aliens.
Yeah, anytime I hear that, specifically having worked with NASA, don't believe it for 1 second, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So if the
Just
aliens come, they're not real. They're fake holograms.
Oh no, if the aliens come, then NASA
Nope,
didn't
you
know
said
about
it.
them.
It's official. AE has approved. Aliens are fake and
No,
gay.
it's not what I said. I'm just saying that if there are aliens, NASA's not the one that knows about them. And they will be just as surprised as everyone else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like Hollywood has really built up the impression people have of NASA. And it's gets back to like it's a government funded thing. So basically there's a guy in charge who doesn't want to spend money on new development. It's disheartening is a little bit what it is because I want them to be doing cool stuff.
Yeah,
But
that'd be cool to have like,
yep.
oh, honey, I'm going to take a vacation onto Mars.
Mm.
Cool stuff like that. Like back in the 80s when they made movies like that.
Mhm.
I think that'd be pretty neat.
Going to Mars.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to the drawing stuff, what do you like this animation project that you're doing right now?
Oh, so this is my Evangelion project that I've been doing for years now. I don't know what to say about it. It's my Evangelion project. I've been doing some really cool stuff with it. I've like really been boosting up some of the techniques, a lot of stuff that I learned while we were doing a tribute. That's actually when I learned how like the key thing to kind of really disguising the puppet animation. And I've just improved on it since then. And I've been doing that with my little Evangelion animation, which is based off of a comic that I wrote and then had Cyber Unique draw way back years ago now. So this project's been really fun, just being able to make the shots and seeing how good it looks, and especially because a few of the shots I've been hand animating, which is just real fun for me, just being able to do that, because like that's the thing that I always really wanted to do and be able to do, and I do the puppet animation because I can't hand animate, but when it comes to some of these close-up shots, I can hand animate them pretty well. Probably not as fast as someone who's good at it can, but I can get some good looking stuff. This particular shot, I just shot myself in the foot because there's like 114 frames or something, which has been killing me.
And your computer can handle this kind of pressure?
Oh yeah, no, my computer, I got a beast of a computer. 64 gigs of RAM. Processor probably not the best it was now, but it was the best processor you could get at the time, like commercially. Which I got this like 2 years ago. Oh no, 4 years ago, because I lost 2 years. So yeah, it's like a 4-year-old computer, but it had the best specs at the time, and it still holds up.
Well,
But it's
no, I get it. I know because I remember the problems we had when you were working on Tribute and
oh
stuff.
oh yeah, no, like man, back then. So I mean, part of it is that like Adobe has been updating After Effects to like account for some more better hardware stuff. So some of that's really been helping. But man, like when we were doing Epic Crossover and Tribute and stuff, sometimes things would just go wrong. And there was some bits at the time where like now it's like it's actually pretty optimized and I can do some pretty heavy shots without much lag. But there were some scenes that were just like minutes between each frame to render, which was torture. So yeah, it's definitely better these days.
All right, that's great to hear because I do know that even though like it's not necessarily that I was kicking my feet, but it's that like I said, the pain, the problems, the difficulty to draw. Now, I really think it's fixed now, and there have been some ideas now. Of course, I don't want to give out any like information to the public, at least not yet. But let's just say that I do want to change the scenario to the, how the video that we were working on. We had the idea to have it be in a studio place, but kind of want to change it to a beach because
you want to change it to a beach?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that would be way easier to deal with all the scenes and the backgrounds. Because, you know, the thing we had, like, that would seem too complex, complicated, like, just unnecessary. I think if we just made it a beach, keep it simple, and also, you know, like how in the beginning, you know, you want like to show off the body, you know, I can just get him in a bathing suit.
Right.
Simple as that. Boom. I think it'd be a lot simpler by making it a beach scenario instead.
Okay.
So I do plan on working on that this month. So, I mean, at least this month, I want to finish this drawing. Maybe I want to get back into the whole $15 exclusive drawings that I used to do. You know, it's been a very long time since I've done those, and I went back to look at them, and I'm like, fuck, man, like, I drew that? That's insane. Like, if I wasn't the one who drew that, I'd be like, man, I wish I could draw like that guy. And I'm like, oh, it's me. I think the lines on this drawing are too thick. I do want to try, and my attempt on coloring this is going to be in the style of Z13.
Alright, cool.
Have you noticed that guy's kind of came back? He's been kind of making like a soft return back to art.
I hadn't seen anything recently, but I haven't really been looking too much. Been like super busy for so long.
He's been going under a new name, but his name, I think it's his actual name or something. I don't know, but if you go over to Rule 34, you can find his art is over there, and he's been making some new stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, pretty neat. Do you have any plans for June?
No, just working, probably.
You're not gonna do anything to celebrate Gay Month?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
I was thinking I'd probably end up eating a hot dog without a hot dog bun, and then watching Top Gun. Specifically the volleyball scene. Hanging with the boys. I was like, there you go. I did my part. So this is kind of dumb and random, but I'm curious. What do you think you would do if you were stuck in a Groundhog Day loop?
Probably at some point, like not right away, cause like you never know. But like once it's been like long enough that I'm convinced like that it is gonna restart, and I'm not worried that this time is the real time, I would probably just give in and do whatever the hell I wanted.
How many days do you think it would be before you did that?
I don't know.
Probably do it on day 3.
No, I mean, it'd probably be like maybe a month or
month, really?
No longer than a month. I'm not sure. It's one of those situations where like, am I overestimating how I would react? I'm not sure.
I mean, I think after the first week and things, I'll be getting kind of pissed and doing things, you know, like.
Well, there's also like I would start worrying like, sure, this is resets, but if I do something ridiculous and get killed, is it gonna still reset for me, or am I dead? And then I would be. So I wouldn't do anything dangerous, because I would never know. Now, if I accidentally died and then was then assured that.
Yeah, but let's say like a year has gone by. I'm pretty sure you'd be like, okay, this is getting kind of boring. Maybe I should kill myself.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'm too terrified of death. But yeah, it would be good. I mean, once it's. I mean, I would watch all the shows I never got to watch. But then I would eventually run out, so I don't know. I would just say, like, the thing that I think would be the worst for me is that any progress I make on, like, a project would just be immediately erased.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, that would suck.
Now, if I knew that I could eventually get out of it, I mean, I could definitely practice drawing and get real good, and just use that time to be better at things, which would be cool, because then I don't actually waste any time.
Well, do you age during this process?
I would hope not.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird if you're like 60 years old and you're like, oh, hey, mom, look. I'm this old guy. Quite frankly, I don't know, man. Like, I do
That's
things
what
a
I'm saying. Like,
lot sooner than you would, apparently.
no, like I would be definitely too worried that time would restart and I won't be able to take anything back for quite a while. It would, but I don't know how long.
Pretty much, if things go south, like on repeat by like day 3, I'm pretty much like, I'm going outside naked. Like this, I don't care. It's time to go wild. I don't understand the whole. Have you even watched that movie before?
Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Long time ago, and I've seen many, many episodes based off of it, of different shows.
Yeah, it's a
There
very
was actually
interesting concept.
there was some really cool I could never find the name of it. I think it might have been called Daybreak, but then when I searched that up I can't find the show. There was a show on, I think it was on Hulu for a while, and it was about this cop who gets like in something, he dies, and then he wakes up and it's that same day. And he basically, the whole season is he's trying to figure out why the hell he's stuck in this loop. And it was pretty cool.
What was the answer? Like I've never seen Groundhog Day, and I've always wondered like how did it end?
I can't remember, but I believe it was basically he needed to learn to stop being a dick.
That's it. This the power of friendship and stuff like that.
I think, yeah, yep, I believe that was the case.
Oh, that's lame.
I mean, it's been a long time, so don't take my word as 100% true, but I think that's what it was.
I mean, the actor, I forget his name.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray. He's typically a dick anyway.
That is what I have heard.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about him just being just an absolute douchebag. But yeah, people are like, oh my god, I love Bill Murray. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that people conflate the actors with the characters all the time.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to hang with him. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. I'm sure you've definitely scoured the web for Rule 34 content of varying
Yes.
degrees.
Now and then, yes, I may have done that.
Yes. So I'm sure you may have noticed that, because I have, is that there's a lot more. It's getting a little more polluted since it used to be.
In what way?
Basically, I'm seeing a lot of artists who try to make a name for themselves, but they suck. Like, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to, upset anybody or whatever. But maybe, and plus I forgot his name. He was on Rex Discord server. He was promoted as like, because on a Rex Discord server there was a introduce yourself like thing for like artists and people and stuff. And I saw this guy. He was like, "Oh hey, check out my art. Here's my Twitter. Here's my Patreon. Here's all my stuff." And I was like, "This is Chris Chan 2.0." There's this guy. Like, this is Sonichu. This is Sonichu levels of absolute shit. And this guy was like being honest. Like, he wants to like go out there and draw stuff like this. Like I'm okay if like maybe he wants to draw he wants to draw like women. He wants to draw like Rule 34 stuff. But yeah, this guy is like, please don't. You are going to pollute the community with this absolute shit. It's like, sadly, it's like there's no filter. That's a good word. So if you wanted to become a not safe for work artist, if you wanted to do the stuff that we're doing, there is nothing stopping you from doing that at all. Even if you cannot draw for shit and you're drawing stick figures, there is nothing saying you can't do this. You can try it anyway. And personally, it's like, there were some things where I'm like, should I be that guy and criticize the art and say like, hey, this sucks?
I mean, the thing you're supposed to do is you give them constructive criticism and not just this sucks, because then there's no way to get better. But I'm just thinking, like, I definitely know some of my early stuff was garbage, but if I hadn't kept doing it, wouldn't have been where I am today. So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a very, like, that's the thing. It's like you need people to tell you you're bad so that you can get better. You know,
Hmm.
like I do that to myself all the time, and that is why I've gotten better. If you look at like some of my earlier stuff, you can see how horrible it looks compared to what I can do now. And it's like that's only because I was telling myself that drawing looks like shit. But if nobody was telling you this looks like shit, or worse, they would be like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. This is great. I love it." And then you know they're just being nice. There was no incentive for this artist to improve, to become better, because everybody says this is a good drawing. So I guess I'll
Hmm.
keep drawing this, flapjack titty Crayola kid style stuff.
But I mean, that's the thing is that you also have, if you're gonna criticize something, you want to give them you have to tell them what's wrong, because usually if people, just the straight up, this isn't good, that doesn't tell them anything, because they might know it's not good, but not know why, and then there's no way for them to fix it. I mean, that's
You
the
know
thing I
what?
run into with some of my stuff all the time, is that something will be wrong, and it will be frustrating me to hell because I cannot tell why it's wrong. Even though I can see it's wrong, don't know what it is.
So that reminds me. On his name is LM Sketch, or
I
Lego Man. He's the guy sketches like 10 drawings a day. Like it's insane. Uh,
haven't seen them.
no, I know if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, yeah, I've seen his work.
Okay.
I am like a patron of his, like I
Mm-hmm.
on his Patreon, because the guy's just I absolutely like his stuff. All right, so ignore some of the color jobs because he does not color.
Mm-hmm.
Any version of his drawing that has been colored in is usually by a different artist. You want to look at the black and white sketch only. That is original artwork of his. As you can,
Nice.
yeah, he's a very very talented artist. I try to, learn from him on how to do things. But anyway, what I was trying to say was, he has a Discord server too, and on his Discord server, he has this like constructive criticism thing on his server,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something I've been meaning to want to do on our server too. Is what
Add
if,
that in.
yeah, what if we added a constructive criticism thing so that artists can go in, post the drawing, and I would be like, okay, let me see what's wrong with this, or at least what would be my personal opinions and what would I want to change if I was doing this and that. I think something like that would be a nice idea to
Mm-hmm.
improve upon some things.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
That was an interesting idea, because I personally I'm getting kind of annoyed, because there will definitely some days where I just want to de-stress, just chill, see what's going on in the community, and I just gotta get like bombarded, flooded with this Crayola Kid style levels of shit day in and day out. And it's like, fuck, man, come on. Like I'm just trying to chill, and you're trying to annoy me with all this shit drawing stuff. And look, you want to be gay, that's fine. Do your gay crap, but there's got to be like a filter on Rule 34, because there's way too much gay shit in the way of other stuff. Like don't even try to search anything in the Marvel community. Like in Marvel Rule 34, any character, if you're not searching that character specifically, you're gonna bear gayness. it's extremely LGBT Marvel community stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Rule 30. I mean, at least the Pahil, that one doesn't. Oh no, you have the XXX one. You should be able to just type in minus
Oh
whatever
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. I
tag
know
is.
on other sites they do, but I'm talking like the main one, the big
Oh yeah,
Rule
the big
34
one.
one.
Yeah, yeah. No, they don't do any content tags. It's all just characters.
They need to filter that, man. I think that would be so great. And like I said, this it's just like more and more LGBT. Like I've definitely seen a uptick of that than there has been like a few years ago. Back when I was first starting off, it was very rare to find like gay, Rule 34 stuff. Nowadays, it's like, fuck, man, you just can't go a day in that stuff without seeing it.
Hmm. Can't remember too long ago to really compare.
Oh, give me that mess.
Yeah, unfortunately, my brain is I don't remember things. which sucks.
Well, it does stand out to me. And, you know, sometimes I'm not, like, I'm legit. I'm not, like, when I go there sometimes, I'm not going there to fap or anything like that. I legit am going there to look up, like, other artists, learn things, try and see what I can do to learn more skills and stuff. And I just keep seeing all this stuff. Like, I've seen some artists who are actually pretty good, but they do some of the most hardcore stuff that I'm like, I don't think I can look at this, even though it looks good. It's like it puts Shadman to shame, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't know. I found a few things where I'm like, oh, I really like this artist, and I go and look up the rest of their stuff, and it scares me.
yeah, it's upsetting.
I'm like, there's only so much blood I want in my Rule 34. No.
I just I wish there was like a more of a better filter kind of thing going on. Because, like I said, I have to deal with gay stuff or Crayola Kid stuff almost on a daily. I would actually tell people, like, it's probably not a good idea to try and do this as a hobby. You know, taking this from my own experience, you know, there are definitely those who can make it. I've definitely shown that, you know, I can do it too. But this isn't like one of those, like, career things that you would want to join and do. Like, if you could do something else when you're fresh 18 or in your early 20s and you want to do something for a passion, I would say please don't join this community, because this is not as glamorous as you think. Because you might have seen it, you might have had it, where some guy's like, oh my gosh, Slappyfrog, oh my goodness, you're such a celebrity, oh, you're so great. It's like, no, I am no celebrity at all. Like, I don't know where they're getting this thing, thinking that I'm like some living in a mansion with lots of money and stuff, or in California. Like, this is not a glamorous lifestyle.
I mean, it depends. Like, I do not do it for glamour. I don't do it for money. I do this because I find it fun.
Yeah, so. And that's another thing. Sure, if you do want to do this for fun, have at it. By all means. In fact, that's how I started this. I didn't expect this to become, you know, as big as it is for me now. I did this straight up as a hobby, just for fun. But it kind of just grew. So yeah,
I mean, it's not big for me. I could not live off of what I make.
Yeah, same.
This at all.
What I'm trying to say is like, if you really are compassionate and you really want to get into this, fine. But do not do this for the money, and do not do this thinking that you're going to live the rest of your life like all glamorous and you know what I'm saying. Like, this is not. It's just not as lucrative as people may think it is.
I mean, it's like the thing is that, like, you know, just because you, oh man, what was I going with there? It's like some people make it big, but most people do not.
It comes down to two factors. It's like what you're willing to draw and how good you are. So I mean, like for me, you know, I'm pretty damn good. I like to say that I'm very damn good, actually. But
I'm pretty bad.
No, you're amazing at what you do.
Yeah, but not at drawing.
But then it doesn't matter like how well I am. There's going to be this plateau where I will not be able to reach higher because I just don't want to do certain things that could make me go higher, like drawing feet and gay stuff and furry inflation. You know, the deviant art stuff. Which, you know what, that's not a bad idea. I think there was even a meme I saw a few days ago about it. You know, furry artists, those guys really know how to, like, maybe that's money. Maybe that's what it is. If you want to get into this, maybe you should try doing furry stuff. And it's funny, like, here I am doing this, but I had no intentions on doing this for money. Like, this for drawing right here was specifically because of the drama that happened in the movie. I don't know. I guess that goes my rant about this industry. I just think there should be more important people nowadays, because I think I don't know if I told you this, so maybe I said this in a long time ago, but there was a poll, basically polled like a bunch of kids from across the world, and they polled like Russian kids, and they were saying like, Russian kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of them were like, oh, I want to be a detective, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an astronaut, you know, typical kid stuff. Then they did the same thing in China. And I was like, what do you want to be? It's like, I want to be an astronaut, doctor, all that stuff. But then they did that to American kids. And the American kids said they want to be Twitch streamers, YouTubers, Instagram, TikTok models. Like, what the fuck? That kind of broke my heart a little, Like, that's bullshit, man. I wish that wasn't the case for how things are right now. Did I break you in silence?
Nope. Still here.
Oh, thought you were just shocked over that.
No, I was angry at a line I couldn't draw.
I don't know. Like, hopefully these damn kids will get their shit together. I'm not really big on kids, and if any kids are hearing me, you shouldn't be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, my brother has some kids, but they're like little shits, and it's fucking annoying. What about you? You got anything else to say?
Nah, not that I could think of. My opinions always kind of rest solely upon how well I think movies are, and animation styles and all that stuff, and story constructions.
You're not really like looking into like news, I guess.
I tend to avoid it more or less, but not really intentionally. It just doesn't. One, I'm always working, so I don't want to come back and be stressed out, which is what the news will do to me.
Yeah.
So when I'm done with whatever I'm doing, I like to relax and probably watch a movie or a show or something. The new Orville just came out. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's the Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane show, which is nothing like any of his other shows, which is kind of funny. I have a friend who every time super like emotional dramatic happens in it, he's like, "This is the Orville, brought to you by Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy," because it's just a thing. I know some people who didn't watch the show for the longest time because they just don't like Family Guy, and then when they went and watched the show, they were like, "Oh, I'm glad you forced me to watch this."
Well, I know a lot of people have been giving the new Star Trek stuff shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the current newest one is the best Star Trek has been since Enterprise, I guess. Even though I know a lot of people don't like Enterprise, but having rewatched it, I think Enterprise is pretty good. But the two, Picard and Discovery started out kind of okay. It was different. Like, it wasn't really what I wanted from Star Trek, but it was doing some interesting stuff. But then, oh my god, the writing, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Like, I do watch, not Picard, but I do watch the Red Letter Media reviews of Picard.
Don't tell me, because I haven't seen season 2, and I mean, I don't really want to, but I have heard it is, like, astoundingly bad that I just have to see how. I think it was a Red Letter Media. I saw a thumb where they said that it has got to be possibly the worst season of Star Trek ever for season 2.
Yeah, it might be. I mean,
Yeah,
the
so
whole show just seems kind of just...
Like, there were some... No, I'm gonna lie. It was bad. I didn't like any of it. Like, just from, like, a writer's standpoint, let's take out any of the content people might disagree with. From a pure, like, story construction standpoint and for, like, keeping an audience engaged and satisfied, it made every wrong step. Like, I cannot eat. Like, there were bits where, like, cool things would happen, and then before you got the payoff, something would happen that would just immediately remove, like, the cool thing. And it was super annoying, and I hated it.
Whatever happened to the cartoon? Did that show ever get canceled?
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's like, sorry, I forgot about that. That is like, everyone loves that show.
Really?
Yep, people thought they were gonna hate it because of the art style and some of the previews, but when it actually came out, some of the best Star Trek. It's really good.
I mean,
Now I don't know how well it holds up to people who aren't fans of Star Trek, but as a fan, it was great. I loved it.
Lately, people have been they've been pushing out a lot of Star Trek content. Show
So
after show after show.
What that is that Paramount doesn't have any, was losing money, and they're like, okay, Star Trek's gonna be our thing, and so they just started pushing stuff out to try and make money.
I don't know if it's working because.
I mean, it is.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, a lot of fans don't. Really
a lot of fans don't like it, but it still made money, and that's a little unfortunate because that means they'll keep doing it. However, I will say the newest one is more or less. It's not the best, but it is comparatively leagues better than the two previous shows. Yeah, no, I think I've done a few streams where I go on like full rants on how much I don't like Star Trek Picard and stuff, which is really
yeah, because
disappointing.
it's not a spoiler, but I've seen during the Red Letter Media things they say that they basically retcon a lot of things from previous things. That just the Whoopi
there's a lot of
character.
Yeah, just don't tell me I haven't gotten that season yet. And even though I know I'm gonna hate it, I don't want the spoilers because then I won't be able to fully bask in how terrible it is.
Okay.
I mean, like I have loved Star Trek since I was like 12 or something, like Next Generation. It's really mostly Next Generation, and I only got into the other ones when I was a bit older.
Scooby-Doo, and it's like, you know,
the weird Velma show.
Yes, the Obama.
I'm actually more intrigued in this than I thought it was gonna be.
No, you're not.
When I thought it was live action, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awful.
No.
I'm more accepting of it that it is cartoon. I still think it's a dumb idea to have a show about a character, except the character is completely different and no other characters are in it. Why not just make your own show?
But man, there was some people on YouTube who defending it. Like, I hate it when people immediately go to, oh, you don't like it because Velma's skin color and that means you're racist. It's like, fuck off. There's your fucking defense of that thing with everything's racist because of skin color. It's like, look.
Now, see, here's the thing. Like, I think people would have had, like, some people would still been upset. But if it were still Scooby-Doo, except Velma was black, but still Scooby-Doo, you know, like, all the other characters were in it, everything else was the same, people would not have as much of an issue with it.
I think people still would. I would probably still be pissed because, look, it's like changing Superman. Like, I mean,
some of the Scooby-Doo movies, Velma's been Asian, so it's not the first time she's been changed.
Yeah, but I told you how a long time ago how I grew up watching the Scooby-Doo back. Like, it was literally like the very last show I would watch before going to bed. Like those old cartoons, and so it's like I kind of know my way around the whole Scooby-Doo stuff. Now, I'm not as much of a fan as I used to be, but if you were to tell me that you were going to change Velma or any of the characters really to be something completely different, it's like I just can't get behind that. You know, it'd be like changing Scooby-Doo from a whatever dog he is to a Dalmatian or something. It's like I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. Oh, you're dog phobic. Like, fuck off. I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm just saying, why do you have to change up an existing character? Why can't you just make your own character and do that instead of taking something beloved and loved by many and just fucking it up for your own personal message, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not so much of an issue. I think it can work. If I like the story, don't care what's been done to it. But
okay,
again, that doesn't always work out.
Like Harley Quinn, that was okay. Like when they did that.
I haven't seen that show still. I need to see that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's on my list. I just haven't seen it yet.
Well,
I know. There's a lot of stuff out, and I only have so much time. Like, I've seen clips and stuff, but I've not seen the show itself.
Like, I can't say it, but it's like, you know what I did. You know what I did for you.
I know what you did.
That's so weird, man. That's like, wow, I really thought you watched. I thought you were a fan and all that.
I mean, I probably will be from what I've heard. There were some bits where I thought some clips I've seen where I thought the animation was a little lackluster, but I can overlook that if I like the show.
Well, I don't know. Like, okay, it's one thing to change Scooby-Doo for like race swap or anything like that, but then you're going all out. You're saying she's not gonna know who any of the characters are from the show.
No. I'm on board with you there. I feel that it is a very weird decision to have it be. It's this character in name only, and that is weird to me. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like, if I would be happy to watch a new, fully animated original show, just with this concept that's not Velma.
So what I'm trying to say is my conspiracy theory. This is me speaking
Mm-hmm.
out of my ass. Is I think they're just doing this on purpose. Cause like
But why?
I think it's just because fuck people who used to cling on to old things. I guess they're trying to just like do the whole, let go of the past, kill it if you have to kind of thing. Cause they did it with like what was it? He-Man. There's another example.
Okay, you can say this, but I love all of those reboots of He-Man and She-Ra.
Really?
I absolutely love them. So now the first one, right? Not the first one. The He-Man, the one where what's her face was kind of the main character, but she wasn't. I blame Netflix for this. So that for Revelations, right? Have you seen the show?
No.
Okay, so the first 5 episodes, which is what, so Netflix, it's a 10-episode season. Netflix split it into 2. Now, where they split it was like, basically it made it so He-Man and Skeletor were barely in the series. Now they are in the rest of the show, like for every single episode, and it is just balls to the wall action. It is wicked cool. But those first 5 episodes were kind of building up to things and were a little clunky in pacing and stuff, and they were fine. But those first 5 episodes really made it look like it was not about He-Man and Skeletor and all that. Now if you watch the whole show, definitely very clearly is. But Netflix, in their weird way they like to release stuff, they split it down the middle so it seemed like it wasn't going to be about them at all. And so I blame Netflix for bad release on that. Also, the CG He-Man is the funniest show I have seen in a while. I love it.
CG He-Man.
Yeah, the characters are more 3D and they honestly looks like it should have been a fighting game. But it is. Skeletor is such a joy. Like, my favorite line in it is they're recruiting Beastman. Yeah, it was Beastman. And Skeletor's like, "Oh, what can you do?" And he's like, "I can control animals." And then Skeletor goes, "Can you control them to be evil?" And it's just like mean Skeletor, and it is hilarious.
What is this? I've never heard this before. Is this?
Well, yeah, no, like they didn't. This is a thing. Like Netflix sometimes just doesn't promote stuff, and it is really frustrating for when it's good stuff. And that's one that they really kind of like swept under the rug promotion-wise. I didn't even know season 2 came out until like a week or so later when I was just on Netflix. But it is funny. It's a little bit of a slow start, and it's definitely very different from He-Man, like the old show. It's definitely like a inspired by same story kind of thing, but it is very fun, and it's one of those where I think it is different enough that you don't kind of get hung up on the nostalgia part. If that makes sense.
Like, okay, over the years there have been flop after flop after flop. From the Ghostbuster reboot to the Cowboy Bebop thing, and it's always the same thing. It's because they sacrifice telling a good story to sending out some message to like certain groups for brownie points.
I actually don't think that's the case. I think that's fine, but I think that the writing is just bad, and it also includes that. And that's
because you rarely see a story where they do both and succeed. Good story and
If we want to go back to the thing, the She-Ra reboot is my favorite show.
Oh yeah, well
it is my absolutely favorite show.
I've never watched either She-Ras, so I can't really make a good.
The old ones were very bad. Just He-Man is also very bad. I've watched the whole show in preparation for the new one. It's not good. It's fun, maybe at times, but it's not good. I mean, the creator even also said it wasn't good. He was like, "Yeah, we just made this to sell toys."
Oh yeah, I mean, I do know that. I know that was the original purpose of He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, you can go back to some old 1980s cartoons and be like, yeah, this is kind of cringe and too wholesome.
I went back and watched some Ninja Turtles, and man, was I cringing so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, some of the jokes just like I'm like, oh,
They
this hurts my
love to do the
ears.
shell thing.
Oh,
Shell,
there,
yeah, shell.
yeah,
It's like,
yep.
okay,
Like some of like the worst puns I've ever heard.
yeah,
It's still fun and I like it, but I'm like, this is a little. It is definitely cringe.
yeah. I don't know. I think there's something going on in Hollywood where these stories, like they need to pick up their game. You know, like I
I
think
do
it's
think, I do think what I would say is that I think that a lot of Hollywood thinks that they can coast by on that. I think that they think that by having like specific messages or something to certain groups that they think that will be enough to make it good, and then they just flop it on actual writing. This is my main gripe with a lot of the new Star Trek one. There is just some. It is just the writing is so bad. I cannot even believe. So when I was watching it, there was like some in season 3 of Discovery, right? There's like this mystery that they kind of like build up, and they're building this up over the whole season. And a friend and I were just kind of like, we don't really like the show. We think it's bad. But so we're trying to think of like, how bad is the solution? How bad is the answer going to be? And so we come up with some like stupid ideas. So we get to the actual climax of the season, watch it. Afterwards, my friend talks to me and says, so you remember those stupid ideas we had? If that had actually been what happened, and you suggested to me this plot, like the plot that we actually just watched, he's like, I would not take you seriously as that being what could happen. It is so awful. And I did find like a few good reviews where people were like, I don't understand why the writers just can't write.
well, what from what
Ugh.
I've heard. Now I'm not a Star Trek guy, but from what I've heard is that back in the day, the original Star Trek was like they had like college professors writing the scripts and stuff, and you had to be like wicked smart and know all this space science, you know, stuff
Well,
to know how to make a
actually,
script.
well, similar. Like one of the big issues with Discovery and Picard is they don't do technobabble right. And you know, technobabble is when they say the blah 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 science thing.
Yeah,
Um, and the way you do that right is by not involving too much real science, because you'll get it wrong. Like the writers are not experts in specific science things, so you'll get like that stupid meme from CSI with the I'll create a GUI in Visual Basic and track the hackers or whatever. But yeah, so there's like a thing I can't remember it, but there was like an interview with some of the old writers who like went to Gene Roddenberry and were like, so what does this thing do? And he's like, it does this thing. It's like but how does it do this thing? It's like, it doesn't matter. It does this thing. It's not real science, and you have to stick with this. Like, this is what this thing does.
gotta
And
trust
so
the science.
basically, yeah. So they would make the rules of their space science, and they would stick with those rules, and they would make sure that it doesn't overlap with anything real, because anything real can be debunked, right? Like, if someone gets it wrong, someone's gonna notice it. But it's also the so like the one of the reasons why the Seth MacFarlane show is so good. They have like the original producers, and like some of their producers are the same people who produced and wrote for the Next Generation and all the other older Star Treks. Whereas the new Star Treks just ditched all those people. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do know that Seth MacFarlane was a big Trek
Okay,
fan
he's a
growing up.
huge Star Trek fan. It was funny when I rewatched Enterprise. He has like 3 cameos on the show, which was pretty funny to, because I didn't notice them the first time I
Wait,
watched.
wait, what do you mean Enterprise? Which one is that?
Enterprise is so it kind of got like people didn't like it when it came out. I think it's aged a lot better and people like it more now, especially as like an introduction to Star Trek universe. It's the one that took place before Kirk. It was basically the last Star Trek they made before the big gap and then the Abrams movies.
Uh, you
It came
lost
out
me,
in
man.
okay, so it was the last Star Trek.
Who was in it?
App.
Like, who played the actors?
Scott Bakula, and I don't remember any of the other actors' names. It's not the most well known of the other Star Treks. I'll send a picture. If you recognize it, you'll recognize it. If you don't, you don't.
Okay.
But like at the time, people didn't really like it. I think people like it a lot more now. It's aged better. It's actually, I mean, especially in comparison with the new stuff. But they did a lot of really neat things that when I was originally watching it didn't really occur to me. And then as I got older and was smarter, there was a bunch of cool stuff that kind of.
All right, let's see. Wow, what is this? What did you? What is this? I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, it's.
That's just
Star
some
Trek.
people in a cosplay doing at some Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's not the most well known, particularly because of like. I mean, I say it didn't do well. It got like 4 seasons.
They didn't even try with that guy on the left with the makeup. Wow.
He is great in the show.
Oh, I thought you were
Also,
about to
I
say
mean,
something else.
like that's what all the Star Trek aliens look like. So
I think they did a good job with the I forget his name, the black guy who did the.
Worf.
I don't know. He looked cool and badass. The one with the
'Cause
Picard.
he was cool and badass.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but I remember growing up looking at him, and I was like, oh wow, they look so cool.
Yep, that's Worf.
Explaining me all this Star Trek stuff to me, and I don't know anything about it. Like I
Yeah.
have some friends like Kami who is big on that kind of stuff, and I don't know. My brain is just too mush to get that.
I mean, I think it's the thing where it's like you have to, it's a lot of content. Like there's like 6 different shows. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff, and if you haven't seen it, then you're not gonna know it. So.
I guess getting back to the message thing is like, did you watch the new Top Gun movie? The
I have
latest
not
one?
seen it. No, not yet.
Okay, well, so I've seen it.
I'm going to. Don't give me too many spoilers because I'm
Oh.
gonna see it because my dad is a huge fan.
What a
of Top Gun.
coincidence! That show is my dad, and that's the reason why I went to see it. Is because of him. That's funny. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I am gonna say that like people online who did see it say that it was such a great movie. It's amazing. 5 stars, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And again, not a spoiler, but it's that there isn't any message being pushed on you. Like a lot of shows nowadays try to push a certain, like, oh, we have to include like this many women, this many black people, this many gay people, this many trans people. Like they don't care about the story. Like the story comes second. And again, I don't have a problem with it, but at the sacrificing of the story and just doing it, especially when you take an IP that already exists and you just turn it into something else for the sake of your message or whatever it is, that is what causes a lot of people to revolt and backlash and cause drama and all this stuff. And I just think that it's not a good thing to do. And you seem to see it way too much nowadays. And I wish these companies wouldn't do that anymore because it just upsets people now. And at this point, I no longer think that they're doing it for the right reasons. Like whenever a new show comes out and it's like, oh, we got this new show and it's about this strong woman who's like in a wheelchair or something. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I know it's going to be bad or whatever. And I think that kind of destroys their credibility. It destroys any good. Like I know there's a rumor of them saying they want to make a black Superman. Do it. I don't even care. Just do it. Just do it. Make a black Superman. I don't know, man. I just get kind of fed up because I just want a good story. I don't want to be lectured like I'm going to school when I go to see a movie or a TV show.
That's similar to what I was saying. You can include any message you want. I don't care if your story is good. I think that people think that a message can be a substitute for story, which is not.
Like back in the 80s, they used to have good, wholesome things. Like they don't do this anymore. Like at the end of G.I. Joe, they used to be like, oh, don't smoke cigarettes and stuff, You never see that in any cartoon shows anymore. There are no good moral shows anymore. Like don't do drugs and don't talk to strangers. No one teaches you any messages in these shows nowadays. It might just be being like an old gooner or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I was wondering that because I was thinking of all the movies I liked, and they're all old movies, and I'm worried that is it just me? Is it just that I saw them when I was younger, and so I can't find the flaws? I like to think that's not the case, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, I think like Jurassic Park, I love that movie. I don't think there's a problem with it. But I haven't seen a movie that I've actually liked, just like from a film and storytelling standpoint. Doesn't matter what the content of the movie is. I have not found a movie that I've actually like super like really been into in years.
This is partially why I don't watch any movies or TV shows anymore. Of course, if people really hammer in it and I have an interest in it, like this Rescue Rangers thing, then you know, I guess I'll make time.
I mostly only watch animated stuff because I don't like a lot of live action things anymore. I mean, I liked Lucifer, but and then I think it got weird. Almost all shows get weird in their late seasons, though.
I gotta say, this drawing's coming along pretty nicely.
It is
pretty rough, but getting there. You know, and who knows? Maybe if you know everybody does like this drawing, I might try drawing another character who is a furry type character. See if that rumor is true about furry artists.
Furry money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny. So there was.
I'll be a furry artist.
So I run my own convention in the fall, right? And so it's a very very small convention, and we're always strapped for money. And so there was this one time, like it was after the convention was done, or whatever, and we're like, it was money's very tight, and we're like, and so just somebody was like suggesting, it's like, you know what? I think we're looking for an untapped money market here, and me and someone else in the room go furries, just with the joke that furries have all the money.
Wow. I mean, I guess they kind of do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think someone explained it to me as this thing where it's like, if there's something you really like and it doesn't exist and you have the money to make more of it, you will. And it just happens to be popular enough that people want more. And therefore, they'll spend the money they want for it.
That reminds me, that's a character I would like to draw and I never got around to was Rouge the Bat.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I have a animated short with her in it that I will eventually make. Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eventually. No, I got some. I'm trying to learn a new new animation kind of tool and program, and I got some. I'm gonna try to do it for that project, just as an excuse to learn the new program, because I know you can do some real cool things with it. I just have to get myself to learn it.
What I'm trying to say is that you have to be careful with even the furry community, because there's a very big stigma that the furries have. There was like a series on YouTube that breaks down some of the people who are in the community who are like big names and how they are problematic to society. For example, I'm sure you've heard of the site Ink Bunny.
I have heard of the site, yes.
It's alleged that the guy who owns the site was a pedophile. That's kind of shocking to me,
I mean, that's something I always take with a grain of salt, because that's basically the insult people throw out just whenever they want.
It could be.
Especially for like just drawing Steve, people will yell that at you for drawing Steve.
Yeah,
with like, and like, I'm not interested in Steve. You don't understand. That's not the thing.
Yeah, it's like the argument for people who like, oh, you draw underage characters, therefore you're a pedophile. It's such a stupid nonsense.
Yep.
I don't know, like, and then I told you in one of my old vlogs, the story on how I got banned off of For Affinity. Now I don't even know if maybe I could go back or not, but it's kind of ridiculous how these people, they behave, I guess. Oh yeah, did you know that what's his name? One of the Gigolos, the Insane Clown Posse. Apparently, one of his sons is a massive furry. And then makes videos and stuff with his dad on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I guess if you're a juggalo, you're already kind of weird as it is. You know what? Maybe we could make a furry video. Maybe we could have one of these women.
If it's characters I'm into, I'm down.
Yeah.
If it's characters I'm not into, less so, because it's so much effort.
Okay.
I used to do animations for for like a furry game site. And they were fun animations to make, but I didn't get paid enough. Which is not, they're all great people, but just the amount of effort I had to expend was not, unfortunately, not worth the money I was getting from it.
Well, okay, so I have my own list of characters who I will never draw. I don't care what you offer me. What about you? Do you have like your personal
Of
little
characters
list?
I won't draw?
Yeah.
Or animate, like in my case.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's occurring to me now, but I'm not saying no. But no one really commissions me for anything, so it's never gonna come up. But
well,
I don't think so.
like,
What's on your list?
Well, I mean, like for example, like people who, like you just said, like if there was a character that came up and you didn't want to animate it, you just feel kind of, because it's like if that was to ever happen and I was to like, hey, what if we did this character? You know, you're gonna just be like, I don't want to do that, and that, you know.
I mean, like if that ever came up, I would just be like, nah. But I can't think of any at the moment.
Straight up, no,
Yeah,
no Slappyfrog, no.
No, nope, not that one. I'm not doing that one. But I can't think of any that I wouldn't.
I know one of my characters is Brian Griffin from Family Guy.
Yeah.
I do not like him. I think he's just so annoying. And the whole concept of him like, oh, I gotta fuck Lois. I want to be with Lois. Oh my gosh. It's like, no, you're not gonna be with Lois. Not in my eyes. Who else was there? I want to say Beast Boy too, because I'm just not really interested in Beast Boy. Oh yeah, I remember now why I broke it down. I explained it in the video. It was because apparently in the show he got to hook up with like virtually every chick, and I was like, this is bullshit. Fuck Beast Boy. Why does he get to have all the women? He's like a clown. Like I know some chicks like clowns and all, but then why is it gonna be with the polar opposite? It's like that's bullshit. Fuck that. Fuck Beast Boy. No, not in my head. Now maybe it's canon in the cartoons or whatever. I don't care. It's just I'm not gonna draw Beast Boy. I do not know the name of the character. I do not know the name of the show, but I do remember that there used to be, and I think I told this story before. But there was a person a while back, long time ago, who would steal my drawings and would edit them to put in this character, this Nickelodeon character in. And I got so pissed because not only was this person coming to me and be like, hey, I did this, I edited your drawings, I'm a big fan of yours, do you mind drawing some drawings of this character? But he told me he was 12 years old.
Ooh.
No, never. Because of what you have done, I will never draw this character ever. I wish I could remember. All I know was that it was a character from a now canceled Nickelodeon show, where one of the characters was like this short. It looked like it was drawn like Fairly Odd Parent style, and one of the characters in the show was like this short, like chick with glasses, blonde hair. I don't know, but again,
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might have lasted like a season. Like it was just one and done kind of thing. And this guy, whoever this guy was obsessed with this cartoon show that he just, I mean, you never see anyone to even draw the characters from the show anyway, so it's just lost to time forever, so whatever. You know, I do want to draw something for the Multiverses game coming out.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm not sure, should it be Shaggy or not, because it's like, he's not on my never draw list, but he's not necessarily someone who I'd want to draw. And it has nothing to do with like personal reason or anything. It's just he doesn't have really a good body shape. Like he's too, I don't know. I don't think he has the body for me to want to draw. You know, basically any fat character too. Any fat male character, I just don't want to draw. Chris, Peter, anything like that, I'm not going to draw. I just do not want to draw fat men.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, I still can't think of any that I would not. If someone was like, will you animate this for me and give me money? And I'm like, yeah, I will. I mean,
I guess you'd have to give me some. Yeah, you'd have to really give me some money. You have to give me enough money where I could consider looking at moving to another house.
There are things that I would say I might not draw, not specific characters, but like there are characters where like I may not draw in certain situations or with other characters. If that makes sense. Like say if there's like a crossover thing but it doesn't make sense to me, then I will not really want to draw it. If that makes sense.
Okay.
and we did epic crossover, I was good with all of that because it all made sense to me. But if you took, and even like if you took like say SpongeBob and Harley Quinn, no, that even makes a little more sense than I think it should. But
I'd
but
draw
say like
that.
say SpongeBob and a character from Evangelion. No, actually, no, this is too absurd. Now we're crossing the line where it's just absurd enough that I would draw it.
Yeah.
But like if they're characters where I don't quite fathom how this situation has come about, then I would be less inclined to doing it. More so if it involves characters that I really like. So anything from Ava, the blue-haired
Okay,
girl, or
so
the
so you would be okay if I was to be like, "Hey, AE, let's make a video with the blue-haired Ava chick and SpongeBob."
only because it's so absurd that like I cannot even fathom. Yes, I would. In that specific instance, yes.
And you know me, I'd make it look good too. I'd make it work. I'll make people be like, this is dumb and all, but this I'm gonna take my pants off for this.
No, I guess maybe just like the straight pictures, but like sometimes when people try to put plot into it that doesn't make sense. Man, this is a hard thing to explain.
Well, okay, I never got around to finishing it last year, but a MILF like crossover
Mm-hmm. Yep.
thing.
See, like that I'm totally on board with because there's like a theme.
Okay.
It's when there's no thread connecting it.
I agree too. Like some things, like when it comes to crossover stuff, and like I said, I love crossover stuff, but there are some times when crossovers just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
I know specifically a drawing from. Anyway, like he's famous for doing the Sonic comics, the Sonic Rule 34 comics.
Oh, like a Pal Comics?
Yeah, there you go, him. Yeah, Pal Comics. So Pal
Yeah,
Comics.
you just had to say Sonic Rule 34 Comics. I got it.
Yeah. But anyway, he does some crossover stuff, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I actually am not interested in this. I think one of his more legendary ones was the drawing of Luigi with Storm from X-Men.
Yeah, like something like that where I'm like, I don't get it. I don't really want to see Luigi with anybody, but if I did, it would have to be with someone that made sense so I get the scenario. There's something to be said for the eroticism of a scenario, right? But how Storm?
Yeah, exactly. There was another guy who has been running around doing now he's kind of a new person, I think, and I don't think he's actually drawing them. He's actually getting people commissioned to do them, and in fact, it was very big inspiration. This MILF Beach vacation thing that I want to do is there's this guy who's drawing Dipper Pines from Gravity Falls, and he's just making commissions of various artists, just drawing him fucking all kinds of women, just all kinds.
There's a similar one I saw where I was doing the same thing, but with Marco from Star versus the Forces of Evil, and I didn't it was just with every character, and I'm like, why? What's going on?
I think
here?
I'm not the only one who has a Steve Smith kind of thing,
Yep.
But anyway, you can look up some of his of his stuff. All you gotta do is basically just type in like Dipper Pines, and eventually you'll find like Dipper Pines fucking Dexter's mom or the Kanker sisters, stuff like that.
All right. So here's a question: if we ever did an epic crossover 2, would we stick with Dean or would we go with another main character and like a spiritual epic crossover 2, not a direct sequel?
It would have to be a different character, because they canceled the show, and it's like, I get it. Dean.
They're doing a movie.
Well, yeah. The reason why we chose Dean, now, yes, I'm a big fan of the Venture Brothers. Very big fan. Love the show. However, it's not that I wanted to pick Dean because I just love the character Dean. It was only because we could not think of another good male character to fit that theme. Because Rick and Morty wasn't around at the time.
That's very true.
Yeah. So
Rick and Morty would be a good one.
That would have been perfect. I would have easily have chosen Morty to have been the epic crossover guy. I would have done it. I know what people may be thinking that's weird, but I would have had him be the character. And I think if we do make a sequel, it probably would be Morty, because it would make sense.
That would exactly.
I want to make an epic crossover too. Like so here's something that I talked to you briefly, which kind of pissed me off. But
you talked to me?
No. It just the scenario that happened that ended up me telling you it.
Right.
Around February, I ended up wanting to get back into making a game. What was it, RPG Maker, that kind of stuff? And I managed to, thanks to Lazy Rock on our Discord, he managed to hook me up with somebody who could help me, program it. And the reason why I didn't come to you at first to do it is because I figured you were already busy with a lot of other things. And
you're not wrong. I'm always busy.
Yeah, and it's like, if I'm gonna get you to do something, it's gonna be the project that we have on the table right now.
Right.
I don't want to have to get you to do another thing on top of another thing. So I wanted to specifically get somebody else. And I did manage to get somebody else. However, this guy wasn't very enthusiastic. He was some Russian person with broken English. He knew how to use RPG Maker. He knew how to use it. However, like I said, like when it came to me telling, like, okay, can you do this in the game? Can you do this? And he'd be like, I don't understand. And I'd have to like get screenshots and like, oh, yes, I can do that. Yeah, sure. And so when it came down to starting the project, I drew a lot of different things. Like I even I showed you a little animation, little Slappy animation, which I want to show off. I just don't know when. But like I had to do a lot of pixel art. That Francine Smith drawing that I posted, where I showed the 2016 version to modern day, the big improvement. I did that with a lot of other characters, and so on and so on. Basically, I drew a lot, and 2 months go by, and out of all the drawings, all the enemies, the sprites, the characters, he drew one map, just and didn't even finish it. One map, and I was like, okay, come on, we have to take this serious. Like, if we're gonna do this, we have to. Like, I need to see progress from you. And eventually, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna work any more on this until I see you do something. And that was it. I didn't see any more. He didn't reply back to me. That was it. No more messages.
Yep.
I just like, fuck, man. 2 months of drawing on this big project, all of it gone for nothing.
Well, like that's the thing, like about how when we did Epic Crossover, you were the first person that like I worked with for an extended period of time that didn't ghost me suddenly.
Yeah, that seems to be another thing I've been noticing is the ghosting stuff that seems to be real. Shit, what were we talking about? I lost it.
We were talking about Ghost.
Yeah.
We were talking about potentials for Epic Crossover 2s and
yeah.
RPG Maker.
Well, I mean, maybe not this year or even next year, but eventually, sometime down the road, maybe we can look into doing the game thing or something. Or maybe we could try the Epic Crossover 2 thing, but I mean, the thing about Epic Crossover 1 was that it was like way over our heads, man. Like, I'm still kind of shocked that we even did it.
Yeah, I mean, but we did do it, is the thing. It was a huge project, and we did it.
Like, wow, was that and it's like, looking back at it now, even now, it's like, I want to say I like it still, but I just, it's like, fuck, I could do so much better job.
I know, anytime I see some of the animations from it, I'm like, oh man, I didn't know what I was doing back then.
I can't believe we thought this was good, like, oh.
Yep.
Now, if we did it today, oh my goodness, people would be like,
oh yeah.
But I think a project that big is it's just gonna be a long ways away. I'd rather do the little ones, like the tribute thing we did, or the Milfin cookies, like little projects that are tiny, just something like that, just was it quality over quality something?
Quality over quantity. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. So, are there any like ideas for women that you think would be neat for this series that we hope to do?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna pick some characters from Ava because I'm gonna, but they'll probably not be
Because
right off.
and yeah, I'm totally okay with that. That sounds interesting. Like the women that we've chosen now, personally, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want. I'm only doing it for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean,
I feel like we owe
I'm,
it to them.
yeah. I mean, I'm into doing April because I like Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
the original one, right?
the original one. I mean, I think Jessica Rabbit is a no-brainer.
I mean, what do you think they're gonna do with her? Like, she's kind of gone, isn't she? Like, she's never gonna
I have
appear
never
in
seen
any.
it. I mean, I was surprised that she didn't have a cameo in Rescue Rangers, considering you got Roger there.
All they said was just like, "Hey, there's Jessica Rabbit." They didn't show it. They just like said it. One of the chipmunks.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that was it.
Yep. I mean, it's probably a Disney being a Disney, like being like, oh, this isn't quite the image we want to go with, kind of deal, um, or something like that.
Yeah, it's really sucks.
But
So I
yeah.
mean, I think for all intents and purposes, Jessica Rabbit. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. We can do that, but I just think it's kind of like a dead character.
Yeah, I
They're
wouldn't
never.
disagree,
I don't think they're
unfortunately.
ever gonna draw. They're ever gonna do anything with her ever again.
Mm, yeah, unfortunately.
I gotta say, I really like the way this is. It's a nice cartoony feel to this image.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, so that's a thing is that like, so I love anime, right?
mhm.
But anytime I do like a project, like people always want to do like the anime style stuff, which is fine. But I really just want that cartoony feel to things for some project things. So it is just a quick side tangent there. I like cartoony looks. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, I do too. I'm not really a big anime guy. I have been looking into dojins, right? I think that's what they're
Yep,
called, dojins. Um,
Dojinshi.
because the comic, the MILF comic I was looking at, my idea, my plan for that comic is to do it in that style where it's very anime
Right?
western and not reliant on color. Like, I don't think I'm
hmm
gonna color it. I think I'm just gonna
Are
ink
you
it
gonna
and
do like
detail it.
doing like with tones or like
Yeah, I don't
because
like it's.
I know there's some tools right here in Clip Studio Paint where you can basically just do it black and white and then like or like do shade it with gray and then you press a button and it converts it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end
Um,
up doing that because I just think it works that way. But while I was doing research, I learned new tricks. I discovered like
hmm
how to draw certain anatomy parts that I didn't quite know how to do at the time. And it's like
hmm
I help improve myself as an artist simply by expanding over to a different style that I don't normally do because I'm strictly like an American Western
Right.
style guy.
hmm
But because I went over to see how the Japanese people do it, it's like, okay, you guys know what you're doing.
Yep.
And I'm ashamed kind of because, when you look over there, you rarely see any Crayola kids over there. They're all fantastic. And then you come over here, it's like you got to sort through 10 Crayola kid comics before you get to something good.
hmm
It's really upsetting, man. Like, come on, guys, step up your art game. It's
I
just,
mean, I think part of it is just a lot more culturally acceptable over there to be drawing all this. I mean, it's not like, there's not like no stigma, right? But it is not out of the ordinary.
regardless, like you would think that there would be like an up and comer new artist who's starting to know the ropes, but it's like, where are they? Because they all look professional to me.
Yeah. Or maybe they just don't share till they're good.
I wish that was the case here in America. I'll tell you, man, I get real annoyed at seeing some people's art, man. But yeah, dude, after the stream or sometime tonight, hopefully, if remember, should try that art criticism thing in the
Oh
Discord.
yeah, just create one. Create the yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
that sounds
sounds
like
like a plan to me.
well, so I know there's more details to this that I can do.
hmm
However,
I mean, it's looking real good.
like I know the bed, and I want to add, my signature smoky background that I always do. I
hmm
always add like smoky backgrounds. Um, and I mean, I just think, but I mean, overall, this looks great. It's not quite 100% Z13, but it is like close. But so far, like I can't really think of much else to change or do. How long do you usually do your live stream?
Oh, I go until I stop. So if you wanna end it, that's fine. I am getting hunger pains. I will say that because I'm dieting and I don't like that.
Yeah, I think we can call it for now. This has been a good stream. Talked about a lot of interesting things, and you know, maybe we can do this some other time. But I hope people enjoyed this. I'll post this on YouTube. I hope.
Sweet.
All right. I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. See you, everyone.